Good morning, YouTube. Sunday morning here. Prospector and young fella. And prospector's Joey. Mrs. Whitetail seems to have lost her Joey, the little one who looked as if it was blind. Failed to thrive, and she hasn't had any Joey for the last 2 days, so I don't know what's happened there. You would like to be fed, huh? There's Mrs. Whitetail in the background. Empty pouch, scratching herself. Cranky old girl in your old age, eh? Yes, you can have that. Do you want some? Hmm? Come on. As you can see, it's pretty smoky here at the moment. That's the Kingsgate fire that was being driven north towards Wytaliba yesterday. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a text from my daughter who'd learned on Facebook that there was fire on Wytaliba. Friday night, some of the people stayed down there and had a full moon party, others evacuated. Some of the women and kids from Wytaliba are staying on one of my neighbour's places. He came over here yesterday and I lent him my spare fire hose, the blue PVC lay flat. Come on. He's got a dam, he's got a pump, he's got water, but he only had polypipe. And I bought the Wormold Simplex airport firefighter from his mother about 25 years ago, so I figure I didn't need to have 3 fire hoses connected to a pump, one connected to the airport firefighter and a spare one hanging up on the wall while he was putting his thumb over the end of a bit of polypipe. So that's where we're at, breathing the smoke of Wytaliba. Calling for mum. Prospector's son. Very, very smoky. But for whatever it's worth, the 1.5 acres that I watered and slashed and mulched still looks a little bit greener than the surrounding country. And that's the view down the valley. Visibility perhaps 700 metres. Kind of fades out after that. Absolutely still air, no wind at the moment, although there must be some very light easterly. Poor old Mrs. Whitetail. I don't know whether she's sick or whether she's got a sore leg, but she's not getting around very much at the moment. Sticking pretty close, which is usually a sign of dis-ease, illness. It's not that she can't move, she just doesn't seem to want to. So, having cut this stuff off, now I'm going to cart it and the dead wood away so that there's less fuel able to burn close to my plastic wall, buoy wall tanks. But I got into all of this yesterday. I didn't actually cut that. That's been eaten by the animals. Same with that. That's spike rush. It's all been trimmed back by the animals. But oh, wasn't there some brush cutting done over here yesterday? Some of that stuff was literally knee high with dead leaves built into a matrix. So it's now all laying down and I can turn it over with the jet from a fire hose. And there you can see hose marks on the trees from my firefighting practice last month. So I think I'm going to get the chainsaw and the trailer, and I'm just going to cut things like that off into pieces I can carry to the trailer and then cart them out of the clearing. It would be nice to leave it to rot there, but when we're going to get enough rain for it to rot is an interesting question. And I think in the meantime, that's just a bloody fire hazard if I'm over there defending against an easterly breeze. So you have to prioritise what you do, and first lay down the flax lily, second get rid of the big dead wood. So it's an ongoing project. And that's another tangle of dead tree that kind of sort of has to come down. I've sorted this all out. The thing is to get rid of the solid fuel, having laid down the grass. And any time I feel a little bit disheartened about the state of the clearing, I can always consider how much fuel there is on the rest of the forest floor, out beyond the defended perimeter. And this is the country that I burnt 5 years ago. So this is the good stuff. And it's pretty scary. For the first 2 years there wasn't enough to burn. And for the last 3 years it's been too dry to burn. But yeah, you can go into my playlist and have a look at the Solo Hazard Reduction Burn series to see that I have actually done a little bit more than usual to try and reduce the amount of fuel on the ground here, but I haven't done anything for 5 years because, like I said, for 2 years there wasn't enough to burn, and for 3 years it's been too bloody dry to burn. But yeah, this will go off. This will go off upsettingly bad. And compared to this, and back in there where I'm at, it's relatively good. And I think I'm going to bring all that firewood and stack it about there, if I can get the trailer to it with me old red Subaru. And there it shouldn't be a problem if it wants to burn. But last year I got 545 mils of rain. I should have got 850 mils of rain. So far this year I've had 217 mils of rain. Talked to a couple of neighbours who are sitting on 177 and 185. So this is bad, this is scary, this is the worst it's ever been, the worst that I've ever seen. But in the shady spots, it is still sufficiently wet that there's moss on the ground in the gullies, as dry as it is. And the theory is that if you have to argue with an approaching flame front, then this is better territory over which to dispute than is this. As I sit here, breathing the smoke, wafting in from Wytaliba, and hoping that all they're sending is smoke, no embers and no fire. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.